What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the whatever edition of the Deep Dive Pod. I've lost count. I didn't check before we started, so whatever. This is the Deep Dive 2019 Rookie Talk, the very first one. Matt Foreman, how's it going, buddy?
Better than Brett.
Better than Brett.
Better
So
than
let's hear from Bert, Dynasty Bert. How you doing?
I'm dying.
Brett is he's on his deathbed, apparently. That's what his voice sounds like. It doesn't sound good.
That's how important this show is.
And he's drinking his death beer, too.
You know what? Sometimes you just got to embrace it.
It looks like piss. I'm not going to lie. It's like a cross between beer and cider, and it can't make up its mind.
It's an IPA, and it's completely
It's got some great lacing on that glass. It's got to be a quality beer.
Well, Buffalo quality. In a Bills glass. Perfect. I didn't even know that. So tonight, with the fantasy season and the NFL season coming to a close, we hope you all have made the playoffs and are making a push towards the Dynasty Championship. If you're not, then you've been looking forward to the 2019 rookies for some time now. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So each of us is going to bring one not undervalued player, but one not popular name that not a lot of people maybe know about yet, and who we think who could make an impact or rise up boards from now until April. So we're going to let Deathman go first. Bert, take it away with your running back.
All right, I'm the only one on here with a running back. Saying
There's a G at the end of running back.
What'd you say?
Running back.
Yeah, running back.
Don't start with that.
Running.
Don't start with that running.
There's a G at the end.
You know how much that bugs me.
Running.
Back.
Say it again. Say it slower.
Running back.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's better. Thank you.
Running back.
No. Whatever.
All right, now after our best rendition of the Family Guy stand-up, listen, people know about him, but even myself in my initial rankings had him as my 10th running back, and frankly, watching more tape, he's been rising like crazy. Karen Higdon out of Michigan. He's 5'9". He's 190 pounds. Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, you said Karen.
Look, Karen is a running back, and he's just going to do great things.
Karan Higdon, my bad. And you know what?
He went to Michigan.
He's 5'9". He's at 190 pounds. He's 22 years old. Yeah, he's on the little bit of the older side of Matt, what are you doing?
Of age?
How did he weigh 190 pounds?
That's what I'm going to get to. That's scared. That's what he's listed at.
I think that's severely underrated. He looks more like 220.
I know. I'm going to get to that. Wow, we're already way off topic. Listen, the guy's got sneaky. From what I've seen, people think he's going to run in the 4.5s. On tape, he looks way faster than that, especially when he hits the second gear in open field. He's not scared of contact, which, speaking about being 190, that's what kind of blew me away because he looks bigger than that. He muscles through tackles. He's not afraid to lower the pads and hit the line hard. He's got great contact balance. Multiple times he's getting ripped away, and he kind of does that 360 stumble, puts a hand down, keeps running. He's got production in big games in conference against Michigan State, Wisconsin, Penn State. Good hands when he's thrown to. He's got 11.1 yards per reception for his career. Albeit it's limited action, but that's promising to me. For his career, he's got 5.6 yards per carry. He's got low college usage, which is always a good thing. 471 career touches total, and like 270 of those came in the last year. 27 touchdowns in his career. Great vision. He does this little stutter step, almost like everybody wants to be like Le'Veon Bell now, but he does a little stutter step behind the line. He lets his block set up, and then he likes to bounce it outside, which is nice to see. The bad thing is if he truly is 190, I'm a little scared that frame might be a little light for the NFL, and he does get spelled out in pass catching situations for Chris Evans, the other running back there, but Chris Evans only has about 20 catches out of the backfield, so they're splitting time, but it's not a ton. to be honest, I really like him. He's been rising up my board quickly.
Just an FYI, I looked for his weight, and the lowest I saw was 202, so I don't know where he got 190 from.
He's got to be 190 kilograms.
Geez, that's a big boy then.
He's a big boy.
I pulled it off of was reference.
I haven't seen him on tape yet, but just kind of looking at his stats here, he has 7 catches for 43 yards in 2018. That's a little concerning. He only.
I don't think that's Michigan's offense though, is passing the ball to the running backs at all. So I'm not knocking that against him. But, and the games I've seen him, he looks natural as a pass catcher as well too. So I don't think that's a big knock on him. I think that's more their offense than his skill set.
That's what I saw too, Matt. Like the way he catches it and the way that he snaps. Once it's in his hands, he snaps his head around real quick and he's looking to get downfield.
Well, I haven't seen much on tape of him, so I can't comment on tape. But Matt, I mean,
I just saw him run all over Penn State. So I mean, that was a bad game. But yeah, no, I like Karan Higdon. I think he's I don't know how much he'll have as a featured back, but I think he's interesting. He's probably, I would say right now, if I had to put a guess on it, he's probably a mid-third round rookie pick right now, which is fine. That's what we're talking about. So I don't see any problem with him. He's not going to be sexy. I mean, he climbs up into the second, depending on his landing spot. But
so I had Snell, Benny Snell, Sanders, Singletary, and Gaskin ahead of him in my ranks because he was at 10, and I probably would put him over all of them except maybe Gaskin.
No, definitely not over Sanders. Sanders is definitely a better running back than Karan Higdon is.
I haven't even seen Higdon, and I know Sanders is better. 5'11".
We'll debate that. Sanders is. If I moved him up all the spots, Sanders is the one right behind him. So
I think Sanders is a better all-around running back than Higdon.
I also have only seen limited Sanders film, so
I've seen every snap he's played in this year, so I think he looks pretty good.
I have about 50 animated GIFs for you in my phone, all of Sanders doing.
Can you send those to me at some point? I'd appreciate that.
Just horrible things to other defenses. But anyways, so I mean, Brett, if you had to say right now, where do you think he ends up in the NFL draft? Not team-wise, round-wise.
Round-wise? For his production, for the school name, which always comes in big, I think he'll probably go somewhere between the third and the fourth round right now. I'd like to see what he does at the combine, of course. That's always we know how NFL teams jump at combine results, but round 3 or 4 right now, which I don't think is a bad spot to go for a running back like in that area.
I think I'd put him 4 or 5, but I think Brett's close.
Yeah, I mean,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I just want to make a point here, real quick. I think people get too caught up with rounds because we've now seen 3 running backs that went undrafted this year are now their team's featured running back. So I think scouting is more important. Trusting your eyes is more important than seeing the draft grade. Yes, I understand draft pedigree is important, but you also have to trust your eyes. And you know what I mean? If you like the guy, you can take people took Philip Lindsay, you know what I mean? People took Josh Adams. I don't want to name any names, but people took Josh Adams in the 4th and 5th rounds. And now they're paying off because they trust their eyes. No one took Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards, I didn't even know who he was, and he played in the Big Ten. So,
well, there you have it. There is the breakdown on Karan Higdon, who weighs 190 kilograms.
I will say this to Brett. There's no delineation in his name that it's Ka. It looks like Karen, so I'll give that to Brett.
Can we just call him Karen? Karen sounds
sure.
Good.
We'll call him Karen.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna watch Karen probably sometime in the next
He's now
weeks.
Plankton's girlfriend.
I don't get that reference. I'm sorry.
You didn't watch SpongeBob, bro?
Never. I never got into that when I was little.
Are you serious?
100%. I never got into it.
This is a bigger tragedy than like anything.
Tragedy?
I'm sick.
That's 3 strikes.
I almost died halfway through that sentence.
All right, Matt. I believe you're bringing a receiver tonight. Who are we talking about?
I'm talking about Andy Isabella. I think people have heard of him because he was a Blitnikoff finalist.
That's the kid from UMass, right?
That is correct. So
UMass
a little bit
the love tonight.
Oh yeah, UMass getting some real love. So Andy Isabella, He currently leads the nation in receiving yards by 288 yards. Obviously, he leads the nation in yards per game by 24 yards. He's caught 100 passes this year. He caught 300. He caught 300 yards on 9 receptions in a game earlier this year. He put up 215 yards and 15 catches against Georgia. Those are second and first, respectively, all time at Sanford Stadium. He ran 4.39 in high school. He's 5'9", 195 pounds. At UMass's offense, the little bit of tape I was able to find on UMass, because it's hard to find stuff on Group of 5 teams because they're just not on TV. I think he does their offense really excelled when he was using the jet motion. So I think if I had to put he's kind of like, I know this is gonna sound like hyperbole, he's kind of like a white, slower Tyreek Hill. I think he can be utilized in that fashion. I don't think he's going to be obviously that productive as Hill is, but his great feet. Like Hill, he adjusts to the deep balls really well, which is why he's been having such a great season. Because his quarterbacks are awful. They're awful. But I really like what I saw from him. I think he's probably going to be a later pick, just because of his school. He's probably going to be in that 5th or 6th round range. He's probably going to be compared to guys like Trey Quinn. He's going to be compared to Ryan Switzer, maybe even Julian Edelman, just because they're short, quick, white guys.
So I haven't seen anything on Isabella yet, because I mean it's early. But I guess the one question that I would have was, can he play outside or is he?
Yes, so he played both inside and outside, which is like Hill does. So he lined up inside and outside for UMass. Now, obviously, that's not saying much, but he was doing that still against Georgia. He had some great double moves against Georgia. He did 2 of them. One he caught for a touchdown, and another he caught for a long pass. So
was that against DeAndre Baker?
It was. I don't think it was against Baker, but that would make sense if they had Baker on him. But
because Baker will end up being a 2nd round pick.
The score also had something to do with maybe a little bit of his production. At one point, they were up 42-7. So, I will say that I'll take a grain of salt with that, just because
that checks the box for against big time programs. So 15 catches for 219 and 2 touchdowns is not slacking.
Yeah, and he also had a good game last year against Mississippi State too.
Is there anything you don't like about him, Matt?
His size. He's 5'9". He's probably going to check in at between 5'9" and 5'10". He's 195 pounds, so he's got decent. He's got a running back size. He's got a running back build. He kind of almost looks like a 2-inch shorter Christian McCaffrey. I think I don't think he could play running back, but he runs like a running back.
I always, especially in the end of my drafts, I always look for. Now I haven't seen his tape or anything. I've seen like highlights here and there on Twitter and stuff, but it comes down to like what my coaches always used to tell me, and now what I use as a coach, which some people like to discount it in football, but I think that it counts even more in football, is you can't teach speed and agility. You just can't. And when I see a player like that, I'm more in tune to take a chance on them in like the back end of a rookie draft or middle of the rookie draft than I am at somebody who's a red zone presence in college.
He's definitely got speed. I mean, I haven't seen any recent 40 times on him, but he ran a 4.39 as a high school senior and a 10.5 in the 100-yard dash, which I looked it up, would have ranked 5th fifth nationally last year in high schoolers. So he's definitely got speed. Solid. I mean, he's not. So Tyreek Hill, didn't realize this, but Tyreek Hill ran. It was win assisted, but he ran a 9.98.
Sub 10 is.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, you can't speak on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I need to go watch him. My only thing is, if he is 5'9", I don't think he starts on the outside.
No, he definitely does not start on the outside. He's definitely inside. But like I really like his feet. He ran the like I said, it was hard to find some tape on him, but the stuff I did, he ran nice routes. He's definitely He's definitely a good route runner, which he has to be at his size. He's not gonna overpower him, but he has to get separation from people. He almost reminded me a little bit of a quicker Cooper Kupp. But the thing about Kupp is he's just so good at reading defenses. And I think Isabella's a smart player too, but that's one thing that Kupp that people didn't account for with his speed was that he's just such a smart player.
Gotcha. Well, unless if you have any parting,
I got two questions. One, where do you think he falls in a rookie draft, and then where do you think he falls in the actual draft?
I think he's probably a late 3rd round, maybe early 4th round pick in rookie drafts. Right now where he sits. And in the real draft, he's probably somewhere between the 4th and a 6th round pick. I think what's going to be more important for me isn't going to be what round he lands in, is going to be what offense he lands in. Because I think if he's with a creative play caller where he might have a shot, I think that's where there's going to be used him best. If he goes somewhere that like with Bill O'Brien, who's not like a great play caller, or someone who doesn't run a like an up tempo, I want to say up tempo offense. Well, not say up tempo offense. Let's just say for some reason Jeff Fisher or John Fox are coaches. If he gets drafted by one of those guys, I will not be taking him because he needs to be in an offense where that he's used creatively.
He sounds like he'd be a pretty decent fit for Green Bay. They're with all their massive 6'3", 215, 220 receivers.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. If they bring in Lincoln Riley, he'd be a great pick.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously Randall Cobb has peaked long ago, and I don't ever think he's going to be back to his original form. And I think that Green Bay offense is kind of missing a piece.
They can save I think they save like $9 million if they cut Cobb too.
Yeah, I think Cobb is pretty much gone.
I think he's done. Period.
What's that?
That he's a senior, right?
Yeah, he's a senior.
Is he going to the Senior Bowl?
Yes, he is.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, he's in the Senior Bowl.
I just want to watch him more. Like I like to watch them.
Yeah, I would think that'll be interesting, definitely, to watch him up against more top talent in the Senior Bowl. Even though I'm not sure what of the top defensive back talent this year is seniors, but obviously you want to see him against better talent than what he saw in the then the AAC. No, they're independent. UMass is independent now.
I think Julian Love from Notre Dame's a senior. He's, of course, I've seen every Notre Dame game this year, obviously, but I think he's a top 3 corner in the class. So he should be there. Okay. And Love checks all the boxes except for burning speed, and his speed's probably in the low 4.4s.
Yeah, I think
fine.
I'm pretty sure that Isabella probably runs. He's quick. He caught the ball in the Georgia game after he ran it out and up, and he caught that ball. The Georgia receiver was catching up to him when he caught the ball, and then he pulls away after he catches the ball and gets running like a running back. So I think he probably runs in the high 4.3s, low 4.4s. He's quick.
If he can get his number down to 4.3 anything, stock's going up. If he runs a 4.4, I think his stock stays the same. And it's weird because a 4.39 and a 4.41 are the same thing.
Yeah,
but it's the numbers that is the sex appeal of that, and people are going to take that into account. So
for sure.
So moving on to my guy to end up, Marquez Callaway, a wide receiver from Tennessee. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Probably weighs a little bit closer to 205. Of course, we won't know that until if he goes to the combine. Which
Riley, you love tearing apart people's weights. You love that.
Weights are. I value weight a lot.
I remember last year during the draft process. Sorry to interrupt you, by the way, but you were tearing apart Alabama's weight of Calvin Ridley.
But yeah, it's because it was all wrong. All the schools list their players way over what they are, even taller what they are. Like my Jabril Peppers story. Michigan had him at 6'1", 215, and at the combine he was 5'10", 197. 195. It's unbelievable. Anyway,
he was wearing heels he was wearing heels when they measured him. It's a fine.
Yeah. Callaway's 6'2", 200. Obviously, if you've seen any Tennessee football this year, you're really not impressed because the offense has been horrible. So the last 2 seasons, he finished with stat lines of 24 catches, 406 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And then in 2018, he finished with 38 catches for 614 yards and only 2 touchdowns. But the good takeaways is he's averaged 16 yards a catch in both seasons. with a quarterback who is worse than all three of us sitting here combined. So, I mean, Tennessee's offense
I'm
is
going to start
horrible.
calling him Jared Guantanamo Bay.
He
Riley,
deserves to be there.
I think you're underestimating how bad I am at quarterback. You have to remember, I'm a 5'5" white kid.
Whoa, I thought you were 5'6".
I'm 5'5.5".
His sickness has brought him down a little bit. It's the shoulder slump. Anyways, so yeah, just some pros about Callaway on tape. Excellent ball skills, great body control down the field, really good presence along the sideline, good strong hands, and contested catches. He comes down with it almost all the time. Some things I didn't like: there's not a lot of burst. He doesn't separate that well, and his route running needs to be defined more if he wants to make a big impact in the NFL. My rough comparison is kind of like a Traquan Smith, where he's kind of a down the field threat. Hey, we need you to catch this 3rd and 13, run a 16-yard cut and post, something like that, where he just can kind of go up and get it. I don't expect him to be drafted before the 5th round. I think he's going to be a 6th or 7th guy, because I really expect him to run in the 4.6s, possibly 4.7, but that's not his game.
Darunya Wilson?
No, he was 4.9. If it's worse than like 4.72, you're done. But like I said, Callaway's ball skills are excellent. That's what he does best. He's going to catch it. Very good down the field when he's got defenders draped all over him. He's probably going to be a back of an NFL roster kind of player. Definitely a 4th or 5th round rookie pick, but one that could pay off, should injuries strike somebody. So, I mean, he's kind of a fit for almost any NFL offense, any offense that kind of needs that down the field, contested catch guy. So if you look at Josh Reynolds this year, that's kind of the role he would play. He'd kind of step in if somebody got hurt. He'd be a red zone guy. So I'm kind of excited about Callaway. I don't expect many people to have seen him so far, but he's a name to keep an eye on.
Who were those guys? I always forget their names. They went to LSU like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Malachi Dupree.
Yes, and who was the other guy?
Trevin Durrell.
They kind of sound like him. They kind of felt what you're talking about. Well, one of them was a speedster and one of them wasn't.
Yeah, Trevin was the fast guy. Dupree was like the 6'4",
he kind of sounds like Malachi Dupree.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Both played in the SEC. Both weren't terrible talents.
And both had terrible quarterbacks.
Also true. Oh man,
and one of them now who plays for the Patriots.
Oh gosh, that's crazy.
I'd like to point out that we talk about people get scared of this. Like, people do get scared of like these wide receivers or people getting drafted in the 6th or 7th. They're like, they're into the roster guys, blah 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 blah. Then you look at a situation that could happen like Green Bay, where like they took wide receivers in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, and all of them have produced at some point this season as rookies.
Not Jamon Moore.
Yeah, Jamon Moore hasn't done anything.
He hasn't done anything. He was the earliest drafted one.
I was just gonna say, which is funny, is because he's the earliest one they took.
And the one who's actually done the best is the one that drafted last.
Equanimous?
No, MVS was drafted after St. Brown, I believe.
I don't think so. I thought
I think Brett's right. I
think
St. Brown was the last guy.
Riley, I have a question. You said you don't expect him to be like blazing fast, but which you might know more than me, but like I'm just asking. A quick glance on the stats shows me that as a freshman in 16 and this year as a junior in 18, he covers punts and he's returned one in each year for touchdowns. Ted, did you see anything? Can he produce in that style of?
Not in the NFL, no. I think Tennessee's had a major lack of playmakers. Obviously, other than my boy John Kelly. Name one Tennessee guy who's really done anything in the draft process, let alone in the NFL. Like
Alvin Kamara.
Well, that was 2.5. That was 2.5 years ago.
The year before Giants, 2 years ago.
Right. I'm talking in the last 2 seasons.
No one. Their offense is terrible.
That's what I'm saying. So they just don't have any playmakers on the roster. in 2017 and this year. So, I mean, he was okay. He wasn't great, and he wasn't great because he's not a burner. And I think you've got to be either a really smart special teams player or a burner to be good on returns.
I was just curious. I just saw it. I haven't watched him, so I didn't know if he can make his case greater for NFL teams because of that.
I just want to say something real quick. That was the best question that Bert has ever asked on this podcast.
It's true. He doesn't ask many questions, but when he does, they're actually not bad.
I've taken my final form.
I hope so, because you talked up Abram Wadley last year after the combine, and I was so pissed.
Listen, I also called Michael Thomas all those years ago.
We all have.
I'm glad you called that second round pick. Man, look at you picking him out from the bottom of the barrel.
I said I would take him as a top 3 in that draft, and people laughed. Tim Torch laid into me. Yeah, I'm shouting you out, Tim Torch.
He doesn't listen to this podcast. He's never going to
listen. Hey, let me just say, Michael Floyd is still on an NFL roster.
He caught a pass a couple weeks ago.
He did, and you know what? Everybody on Washington seems to be dying, so Floyd could play quarterback eventually.
He'd probably be better as a quarterback than he would be as a wide receiver.
But anything's better than Mark Sanchez.
He recovered the other day.
He made up for it. That was pretty cool.
Full circle.
Well, I don't have anything else to say. So unless you guys have any final thoughts.
Looking forward to digging into these prospects. That's for sure.
I'm ready to start scouting again.
I'm probably further behind than the two of you are, but I have something to watch for in the NFL season. Riley, you don't root for an NFL team, or if you do, it's the Titans. Maybe.
Nope. Don't cheer for the Titans.
The Bills. So your season's been over before it started.
Hold on. I'd like to point out, Josh Allen has looked pretty good in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, why did he have to take that kneel down 2 weeks ago? He lost me 3 points on DraftKings
because he didn't go 100 yards. I don't know. His mechanics, everything looked way better past his last couple of weeks too.
Yeah, if only people to throw the ball to that weren't named Zay Jones and Robert Foster.
Well, we got $92 million in cap space this summer.
That's right. Michael Floyd's going to be a free agent.
Jamison Crowder will be though.
Gross. Oh, they're going to bring another slot wide receiver. That's just what they need.
We'll draft one.
You need to draft 4. Honestly, if I'm the Bills, I'm looking at DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, anybody with a big name.
We need a big.
You have to take a receiver.
We also need to get somebody that's got speed though.
Well, no, Riley. What they're going to do is they're going to take a receiver in the first round, wait 2 years, trade him, and then he'll blow up.
True. They got to do something.
I mean, they have a perfect track record for it. I mean, it's happened.
It's just not first round receivers. We got undrafted free agents. We've got Hogan. We've got 3rd round burners like Marquise Goodwin. We've got 2nd round people who we think we're just good at blocking, and then all of a sudden we trade into Matt's team and they blow up as like top 12 wide receivers in the league. So we got a great track record.
And then you have top 5 picks who you trade away to Matt's team too. And then, they don't really do anything.
And you give a 3rd and a 7th round pick for Kelvin Benjamin, a left tackle.
I'll tell you this, though. Sammy Watkins has been a better Bill than any other team he's played for so far.
Thank God we cut him. Kelvin Benjamin, by the way.
Yeah. And Andre Holmes.
I saw the funniest gift the other day, and somebody changed the lyrics, but it was like
you just said gift.
Did you say gift?
Yeah.
No, gift.
Like a Christmas gift?
There was a distinct
gift.
You put a T in there. You put a T. He's fined.
It was a gift, and it was a gift to me because it was a lip dubbed version of the Mighty Ducks, and it had Kelvin Benjamin's face on Goldberg, and it was like, I bet you if it was a cheeseburger, you would have caught it. And I laughed a lot because he's fat.
Riley, that didn't land with me.
I will. My last thoughts are, I've been saying it all year long for our 6 followers and listeners, but rookies is where we really pride ourselves. So I think it's going to be.
We had some good calls this year.
We
Tyler
did.
Boyd, Josh Adams, John Brown,
Chris Conley, Jared
Cook. Cordero Patterson has actually been.
He's not a bad running back. He's not a bad running back.
He's pretty good.
He's thicker than I remember.
I thought he was just going to be used on screens and jet sweeps, but he's been at running back too. We had a lot of good calls this year. I think I talked about Andy Dalton. That sucks.
Oh,
you did.
Speaking of Cordell, I was at trivia night the other night, and I won off of a sports-based one. It was who has the longest kick return in the NFL, and it's Cordell.
108 yards.
Yeah.
We would want to.
Dante Hall, so good for you.
I was pretty proud of myself on that one.
I mean, I just went regular trivia that has nothing to do with sports, but I mean that's just me.
It was a sports question in regular trivia. Sue me.
We could finish with some trivia, Brett. Where did this player go to college?
Let's do like 3 of them. Let's do like
All
3.
right, let's do 3. So let's see. I have no players prepared. Dang, I'm trying to think. So we'll start easy and then we'll get harder. Sound good?
That's the way I like it.
So is this a contest? Do you guys want to buzz in?
Sure.
All right. To buzz in, just say your name. We're gonna start with James Conner.
Matt.
Brett. I'm lagging. I have bad Wi-Fi.
Okay, I'll give it to Brett.
Pitt.
He went to Pitt. Matt, I know you know that. This is more fun when it's just Brett. Let's see, another player. Let's go Chris Conley.
Matt.
All right, it's obvious Matt knows, so I'm going to give Brett a second. He's
turned
Googling it. He's Googling it. That's why.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. My dad was yelling at me.
It's Georgia.
He went to Georgia. Let's see. Let's do where did Andy Dalton go to college?
Matt.
I know Matt knows. Brett. He's Googling it. I think he's Googling it on his phone.
I'm writing on a piece of paper.
What does that have anything? How does that help you?
I don't know where Dalton went.
Texas Christian University.
Oh,
or TCU for normal people.
Go Horned Frog.
You know what? Let's try some Bills. Where did Chris Ivory go?
I'm not prepared for this.
We looked this one up last time. It was some small school that.
Was that a last time one?
Yeah.
Same as Nate Washington.
Yeah, we don't know that one either. Washington?
They both went to Tiffin.
Oh, that's right.
Tiffin.
Tiffin? Where is Tiffin?
I have no idea.
Sounds like a SWAC school.
We'll do a couple more. I'm trying to do Bills players, but I just can't think of any.
Robert Foster.
Alabama.
Oh, good job, Brett.
I don't know. Gosh, I don't know any other Bills players. Jeez. Travis Kelce.
Matt.
I know Matt knows. What, Brett?
Cincy.
He did go to Cincy. All right, so Brett's not terrible at this game.
Him and his brother.
Very good. You must have saw the E60.
There's an E60?
Oh, dang it. I thought that would have been funny. All right. Well, unless you guys want to talk more about players in their colleges and try to make Brett look stupid.
People shut us off 30 minutes ago.
Probably. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Hope you enjoyed hearing about a little bit of the deep dive rookies. We will be back eventually. Not sure if it's next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks.
Whenever we goddamn feel like it.
Whenever we feel like it. I wonder if you're going to edit that. Who knows? For at Dynasty Bert, for at Fat Mormon, and myself at DTC_Riley B, you can follow the pod at Deep Dive Pod. Got it. Finally. Thanks for listening, and we will talk with you soon.
Toodles.